Amanda and we talked about it earlier today, where Ahsoka, like, it's just, I mean, obviously this episode really focused on her, and she didn't like the stuff with Anakin. Like, it was awesome to see Hayden Christensen. I loved the detail with his like haircut as he's wearing his Clone Wars outfit, but also I had to really think about what does the whole like live or die thing he's talking about. What does this have to do with anything? And we talked about it afterwards. It sounds like, hey, she's in the pursuit of Thrawn, trying to kill him, and if that's her only focus, then she's essentially turning to the dark side. And he really focused, like, made her focus her energy on him in that moment. And you see his eyes are yellow and her eyes start to go yellow. But unlike him, she chooses the light, and then he smiles.
That moment when when she immediately throws away his lightsaber and says, "I choose to live," and he sort of like, it's almost like she punches him in the gut, and he has to like fall back a few steps, and he hangs his head, and you watch his face contort to this softness that reminds you of Anakin Skywalker.
He's sobering up to the light.
Yes, and he says at the end, like, maybe there is still hope left for you.
Yeah.
And that crushed me.
He's got
emotionally, it crushed me.
He's got that handsome devil look in his eye.
That smile.
I didn't even think they really had to de-age him too much, because like we saw him in the flesh, in London, and he looks great.
He does.
But he looked awesome in this episode.
Oh, they did a really good job.
Just stellar. Loved, the aesthetic of it. To get back to your point on the haze, like the fog and whatnot, I thought like it made sense for a TV budget. It's a cost-effective way of putting you in that world, but it also lines up with storytelling of these are memories. You're not going to remember everything perfectly. There's a certain fog to it, but it's really an emotional experience. But it was just, to get back to, we were kind of comparing to like Andor or whatnot, or this point in Star Wars history, especially like the Disney era. It is so cool to get this level of storytelling. We're getting back to like the Star Wars being space operatic and lightsabers, and that's, I think, the big pull in this nostalgia for me that pulls into it is up there for episodes.
It felt like a good deal of fan service, but done the right way.
Yeah.
Like, I think as much as fans have been wanting more Hayden Christensen back in Star Wars, this is kind of the first like really good way to bring him back that makes him have purpose and not just like a throwaway character. He truly helps Ahsoka transition her character. And a lot of the critiques that I had in the first couple episodes were about like Rosario Dawson's performance. I felt a little stiff and stale. And still, every time she crosses her arms, which I know she canonically does in the Clone Wars often, but every time she crosses her arms, it still is like, stop doing that. Stop it. But she really starts to feel like Ahsoka to me, especially as she comes out as like Ahsoka the White.
Yeah.
I really, very Gandalf.
And yes, very much. And she like is holding the map piece, and she's looking for this memory surrounding it. And the camera kind of pans all the way around her. And I'm admiring at how well her headpiece looks. Like, it really does fit. And in that moment, I really was like, okay, this is Ahsoka.
Yeah. But I'm going to be honest. We have all this praise, and boy, characters. I mean, Anakin was nice to see, but boy, stuff feels stale. This episode for me was just like, I remember seeing all of this, and you have to ask yourself, like, what's the purpose? And then you look at the characters, and you're, especially on Ahsoka's end, I'm like, wow, you are as stale as an old saltine. Even like the younger Ahsoka is like fine. There's some energy. There's a lot of personality, lots of despair. But older Ahsoka, it's just like, man. And it really featured her this episode. And it showed. Oh, boy, it showed.
So you're saying it showed her as more stale, or she actually returned to the original Ahsoka that you know?
No, she is just stale.
Because that's
And
what, like the first 4, since I missed the 5th, my biggest take with Ahsoka is like, did you just turn into Obi-Wan Kenobi? Is that what just happened? Are you the
A more
girl version
boring
of Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan.
Kenobi?
A more boring Obi-Wan. That's it.
That's a
Which-
really fair comparison.
Which, yeah, I do agree, especially starting off the series. I remember you two talking about how she's just so stoic, overly stoic, to a point of we're like, okay, we get it. It's kind of hard to
You can
watch
still
it
be
now.
stoic like Balin's school
Yeah.
and deliver an acting performance.
Yeah, but I think, and maybe, character analysis and whatnot is like she's been through, I don't know, or desensitized to so much, maybe so much of a cynic now, where it's like, yeah, I'm just kind of cold to this world. But then I think Filoni's directing her to, like, be very stoic and robotic, so that way that much more of enlightenment when you're Ahsoka the White is gonna hit much harder, as the contrast, because you do see it like this. There's quite a bit of resolve with her at the end of this, and she's happier or whatnot.
I just can't wait for Sabine to see her again. And she's like, Ahsoka, you have personality now. And she's like, I was Ahsoka the Grey.
Through fire.
Ahsoka
I'm
the
totally
White.
new
and
now.
water.
Yeah, through wire and water. That's actually true. Your lightsabers and water.
It really hit it on the nose with the whole Gandalf thing.
Descended into the darkness.
But with characters, okay, so what did you two think? I mean, we could talk more about Anakin and Ahsoka, but the other ones, the supporting characters and whatnot, the whole Hera, Jason,
Okay,
whatnot, like,
my thoughts about Hera this episode. Again, still a terrible mom. She
really is. Can I go out there like, yeah, come on.
She's like, what's breaking a few more rules? Like, honey, you are gonna go to New Republic federal prison for the rest of your life for treason right now, and you are doing that in bringing your child with you to commit those crimes.
She's showing her ways.
Mind you,
Yeah.
Jason Syndulla did have a purpose there, which I'm glad he did.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm going to say, right? Like, they mentioned my boy.
they
Kanan
did.
Jarrus
They name
by
dropped
name.
your boy.
Lots of bingo cards.
By
mixed
name,
today.
and that was also a very emotional moment for me.
That
Yeah.
was good. And Carson Teva's like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
I was like, I know, as soon as he did that, I was like, have some respect for the dead,
Yeah.
sir. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Name.